I'm back on my shit and I'm saving the culture.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions Rewind. I'm Tyrone. That guy right there with the turquoise shirt, that's Devin. Just like turquoise G.
Okay.
You know the song, Smang It.
Smang it, girl. Smash it in, babe.
Anyway, so what we're talking about today, The Crow, starring the late, great Brandon Lee.
People once believed that when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes, just sometimes, the crow can bring that soul back to put the wrong things right.
This was his last film appearance. Before we get into it, if you don't know the story of Brandon Lee is the son of martial arts legend Bruce Lee. He was tragically accidentally killed on the set of this film towards the end of the filming. He probably already filmed 95% of the scenes.
Right. There is one scene in particular which he got shot in, and it's very clear that they didn't finish shooting that scene because it's a very important scene, but it's the most sparsely shot scene because they like tried to edit it kind of carefully. Yeah,
it was. They put that scene is actually in the beginning,
right?
And yeah, and it was sad, and I can get into the workings of what happened that day, but I don't want to get too far into that.
I want to wait a second because I was playing a little game with you, and you didn't know I was playing this game. And you failed. So the game was, how long will it take before Tyrone mentions the stuff around the movie instead of the movie? And that's the first thing you did. And I think I understand now why. Because this movie, there's nothing in this movie. Nothing happens. It's super straightforward. There's no characterizations. There's no plot. There's nothing. So the only thing that makes this movie interesting there's no plot. The only thing that makes this thing interesting is the tragedy around the movie. So the tragedy around the movie is a gajillion times more fascinating, more interesting, and probably there's a lot more to talk about. But the plot of this film, it's paper thin. It's the thinnest plot ever, and because it's so thin, I think it makes the movie feel long. Because I'm like, yes, I know you're getting revenge. I get it. Is there something else? Is there a side story or another character or nope? He's getting revenge, and you're just watching him carry it out for an hour 30, and it's like,
ladies,
woo! It feels long.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the shortest episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions Rewind ever.
This is going to be a weird one because there's not a lot to talk about here.
There really isn't. It's just about this was with this movie. I've seen some interviews with him where this movie was like going to be his gravitas.
This is the best role that I've had the opportunity to get my hands on in a film.
Of his, because he's went to acting school, and he decided that he really not only does he want to be a martial artist in films, but he wanted to be taken seriously as an actor, and he felt the role of Eric Draven was
his breakout role.
This breakout role to be that. Even though he's been in other movies, one of my favorite movies was Rapid Fire. Hold on. No! Boy! Yes, that movie.
Well,
one of the best movies ever.
See, again, this is the thing about this movie. It's very hard to talk about this movie because nothing happens in this movie. So I want to talk about this movie for as long as we can, and then we'll talk about all the other stuff because there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, a lot of the production, and this is why you've heard about the movie. This is why the movie is in the zeitgeist. But let's talk about the actual film. It don't take long because there's nothing in this film. The film is about.
Go ahead.
The film. The film is about a guy named Eric Draven. I'm assuming he's a musician because he carries around a guitar later. But okay,
Sick musician, man.
all right,
Awesome.
okay,
Solo riffs on the roof.
yeah, on the roof. He does do that. So this guy named Eric Draven, he is killed before the film starts. He and his girlfriend are killed before the movie starts. He comes back. From the
day
dead.
before their wedding.
Yes, the day before their wedding, and they're supposed to get married on Halloween. He comes back from the dead a year later, and he's getting revenge on the group of people that killed him. Now, and that is truly 100% of the plot. There's nothing else. There's no side story. There's no nothing. No one learns anything. That nothing is revealed. He just is killing the people who hurt and killed him. Now, the movie does a thing. It's super cliche, and I don't like it when I see it because it's super annoying and boring. But it does a thing. Is a film trope called fridging. Do you know what fridging is?
Yes and no.
Okay, so fridging. Sometimes it's called fridging. Sometimes it's called women in fridges. So the phrase comes from this Green Lantern comic cartoon of all things, where a woman is put in a fridge and dies in the beginning of the film, in the beginning of the comic, and this motivates Green Lantern to carry out whatever he's got to do in the comic. So it's a film trope where the woman is killed, and her death acts as a motivator for the male, and that's it. She has no other role. It's just her death is just the motivator. And in this movie, the woman is fridged immediately, and not only is she fridged, but she's gang raped first. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Is that necessary? No, not necessary. They just did that because I guess they thought having a woman get raped would be more motivation for the Crow, but all right. So to me, when the movie started and I'm like, with like a gang rape and murder, I'm like, all right, well, I sure hope there's a lot more going on here, and there really isn't. So the movie's a bit cliched, and it starts off on a cliched foot to me. Okay. But I know you like this movie, and I can see why people do like the movie because it's very stylish. The movie's all about style. It's all about coolness and tone, and there's
awesome 90s rock music.
Yeah, rock music and crows and rain and rain and black leather and it's cool.
Emo.
Beyond emo. It's cool, but if you're trying to watch a movie, it won't get you to the movie. That's that kind of stuff. It's like, all right, cool, but you should probably just look at pictures. Don't watch the movie because there's nothing else.
Oh, this is already boring the shit out of me. Kill him!
Yes, I mean, you're right. It doesn't have any really substance. You're right about the fridging, that the death of a woman is going to make the guy go on a kill rage. Him coming back from the dead because the Crow carries the soul of the lost, so he can come back and right the wrongs.
But how come the Crow didn't bring back the woman? She was way more wrong than he was. She got gang raped. So why bring him back? Why center around the guy? That makes no sense.
But is she an excellent fighter?
Apparently he doesn't need to be, because when he comes back from the dead, he's got superpowers. He's
invincible.
He is invincible.
I'm looking for something in an engagement ring. Gold.
You're looking for a coroner. Shit for brains. Oh, shit. Oh, shit on me. Shit on me. Shit on me!
And he is a great shot, apparently, and yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Fire it up!
Fire it up!
Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up!
Oh man, it's crazy. But yeah, that you kind of hit it on the nail when it comes to why people like this. It's stylistic. And to be honest with you, man, this movie was the start of other things that you can see in other movies. Like when I see the opening scene, it reminds me of Sin City.
Yeah, it looks like Sin City. And when he's running across the rooftops, I can see the Matrix, the beginning of the Matrix, where he's running across some rooftops in the beginning of the Matrix. Excuse me, where Trinity's running across some rooftops. So yeah, you can see a lot of the style of this film being imitated in better films, but this particular film is not. It's just okay.
Oh my god!
But we can talk about the stuff that everyone knows. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention. I was surprised at how much I didn't like the film, and I was like, "Am I being weird?" So I did a little research, and no, apparently most people don't like the film. I was like, "Oh, okay, good." Most people only like the film because it's stylish.
Are you sure? Are you sure you wasn't reading reviews on The Crow, City of Angels, and all the other Crows that came out?
The reviews
for those things were garbage heaps.
This movie has average to poor reviews, and I'm like, okay, good. It's not just me. There's not a lot here, but the story of the production of the film is a gajillion times more fascinating than the actual movie itself, and it does make the film feel more violent than it actually is. It does make the movie feel more tragic than it actually is. So you need to carry the knowledge of what happens to Brandon Lee during the film with you while you watch it. Because if you don't, if you just watch this movie honestly, there's not a lot here. Like there's nothing. Again, I'm not really sure what to even say during this episode because
you said what you said.
There's nothing here.
Hey! Fire it up! Fire it up!
Fire it up!
I will say it was interesting that, and this is maybe the only bit of characterization we get in the film, that the Crow, when he gets his revenge on the people who killed and raped his girlfriend or fiance, he kills them in the ways that they kill other people. So there's one guy who's all about fire. He burns that guy. There's one guy who's all about knives. He stabs that guy. There's one guy who's all about drugs. He gives that guy an OD. Yep. So it's like, all right, he's kind of enacting like, there's the pawn shop dealer guy. He doesn't kill, but he shoots a weapon at him. But the weapon is loaded with the rings that he pawned off from other people. So I'm like, all right, there's
each ring is a life.
Right.
In a hand.
Yep.
Destroy.
Each one of these is a life. A life you helped destroy.
I mean, it was good. That was a good line to me because it was true. He did have a hand in it.
It was kind of corny.
Come on, I sound like Jerry Seinfeld.
It was kind of corny. And it's like, yep, I knew the pawn shop guy was bad. That was established early. So, I don't know. You didn't learn anything. Like, nothing. I don't know. There's not a lot here.
We can't please you, Mr. Harris. We can't do it.
You can't. I mean, here's the secret. Here's the secret, y'all. It's easy to please me with movies.
Hold on, wait.
Yeah,
let me
you ready?
Closer.
You ready?
Yeah, hold on. Tell me the secret.
Tell me a story. If you tell me a story, I'm happy. It doesn't even have to be a good story. Just tell me a story. But it's shocking how many movies cannot do that. They just can't do it. Now, let's talk about the stuff that people really want to talk about, and I'm sure you want to talk about, and I want to talk about with this film, and that is all the drama surrounding the production. If you want to go ahead and go with Brandon Lee's death and all that.
How he got this happened to him. Like I said before, he was shot during the last 95% of filming this film. It was a scene where the character of Party Boy was supposed to take his gun, shoot him, and he was just supposed to fall to the floor. And what happened was the night before, the gun that Party Boy used, it wasn't checked properly by the props department, because a little bit earlier in the film, they had to shoot that same gun, like actually shoot that same gun, and they didn't have any blanks for the gun. So the props guy made a makeshift bullet to make it seem like the camera to see that there's something large, like there's an actual bullet.
Well, there's
inside
the gun is a revolver, which is important because with a revolver, when you're looking at a revolver dead on, right? Hopefully, you don't ever see a revolver dead on.
No one is. Yeah.
But if you look at a revolver dead on, you can see the bullets in the chamber. So they had to put bullets in the chamber in order for you to see it. Now, blanks don't look like bullets. They look empty because they're blank. So they had to put in real bullets, and the idea was the props guy was going to empty out all the gunpowder from the bullets and put it in the gun, so that when you fired it, the bullet won't move. It won't fire out of the chamber, but it would just sit in the middle of the gun. It would just sit it's called a squib shot. It would just sit in the barrel of the gun, and so they did that. Right. It was there, but then they needed the gun again for the scenes you're talking about. And so what they did was they put in blanks. Blanks do have gunpowder in there.
Yes.
But they don't have a bullet.
But he didn't take the
exactly. He left the bullet casing, but he left the bullet in the barrel. And so when they put in the blank was loaded with gunpowder. So they fired it, and the bullet that was lodged in the barrel fired out like a regular bullet, and it shot Brandon Lee in the chest. And he was,
and the bullet went to his spine.
Yep. And I think they said he had 6 hours of surgery, and
6 hours of surgery, but they couldn't stop the internal bleeding, and he died at the hospital, which was sad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It was tragic, and he was about to get, ironically, married to his wife 2 weeks after.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And of course, the Lee family did get a settlement from the film company. And then that set off a whole bunch of stuff that the media came off and said, oh, is the Lee family cursed because his father died of, this thing's going on with his head and his sleep and all type of stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't think the family's cursed.
And, there's stuff about the Lee family being cursed. There's stuff about this production being cursed because Ernie Hudson's stepbrother died during the production, so he had to leave. So he didn't finish his scenes either. So there's a lot of, this production was really troubled, and it's a troubled production about the death of a young man about to get married, and in reality, this was a movie about a man who gets killed who's about to get married. So reality mirrored fiction during the making of this film.
Sad, man. But that sad reality, I would guess that it boosts the popularity of this movie because everyone definitely wants to see it after they found out what happened to him.
Right.
And I remember, and it came out in '94 actually. I remember when it happened, my mom and my stepfather, they were shocked about it as anyone else was, and they said, I remember them saying, definitely got to see it now, all this stuff, and I wasn't allowed to see it, of course, because I was 9 or 8. But a couple of years later, she did let me rent it and to watch it. So, and knowing the story back then, I admit I really want to see it because of that. Like when it comes to this movie, man, I like the movie because of the stylistic things of it. Yes, the story behind it. I like the music in it. Me being a musician, and it can't rain all the time.
But apparently it can, because I was kind of waiting for it to not rain. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's gonna stop raining at the end. No, it rained the whole time. So I'm like,
it rained all the time.
So that was a lie.
That was a metaphor for how you feel on the inside.
I understand, but I thought they'd show us that metaphor visually by having it not rain anymore at the end of the film. But it didn't. It just kept raining. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah. It didn't rain. It didn't rain on the day before Halloween.
No, it didn't.
Because if it did, those fires that they were constructed would have went out. Now, let's get to the villain of this story, though. Did you? Of course, he was a hammy villain. He's very hammy,
okay.
and the guy who plays him, his name was Michael Wincott.
He's got the
He
coolest
plays a
voice.
villain in almost every movie that he's in.
Have you heard his voice? It's like so cool. That's why he's a villain and everything.
Well, gentlemen, by all means, I think we ought to have an introspective moment of silence for poor old Tintin.
He's got his voice took me through the movie. I'm like, oh good, this guy's on screen, great. And his voice was like so nasty and growly. I was like, man, he sounds awesome. But everything else didn't really do much for me. But I did like his villain. And apparently he's incestuous because he's having sex with his sister. I guess that's a thing in the film.
Yeah, that's who she was. Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
But he was like, let me tell you a story. Flap, 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 bang, I'm dead. And this film, or the characters in this film, is based off a comic book movie too. A comic book. So I'm gonna say about this movie, I like the movie, and I'm gonna rate this movie just because of nostalgic purposes and the fact of the story behind it, and the awesome visuals. Come on now, awesome visuals. I'm giving it a 9, man.
Wow.
Out of 10.
Wow.
Because I can.
I think this movie is it's a cult classic, so I know some people they just really like it. But me coming in kind of cold, I was like not wild about this film. I saved this movie. Just a little backstory here. We had to watch a bunch of movies all together to get to this movie. And so I saved this movie for last because I'd heard so much about it. And I'm like, okay, I'm really excited. I thought this was going to be the best movie. So I was like, save the best for last, And this was the worst one for me. I think I might rate this movie. It's not even fair to rate this movie, I feel like. Like a 2. I don't recommend it. I think it's... If you want to see a 90s stylistic movie, there's a million better ones. A lot better. I don't think this one's that great.
What?
Yeah.
You gave this movie a 2 out of 10, sir. That is your lowest. You're saying that this movie is worse than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I mean, at least they tried to tell a story. Zack Snyder's Justice League is a terrible story.
No.
The story behind the story with Brandon Lee and all that stuff is very interesting. But this film is not that interesting. There's not a lot here. Like there's not a lot going on. Like I don't.
It's too linear.
It's boring. That's the issue. It's boring. And I thought this movie was long, but it's not. It's not a long movie. It just feels long. And the reason why it's boring is because they tell you very early on, within the first 15, 20 minutes, what happened and what he's going to do. They say he's going to get revenge on these people that killed him. Got it. And then you just watch it happen. That's it. You don't learn anything else. There's nothing else happens. He just one by one kills all these people. I mean, thank God it wasn't just one guy, because the movie would have ended in 5 minutes. Thank goodness it was like a million of them. I mean, they were all best friends, I guess. They all hung out together, so it was really easy to find them. He wasn't even like looking. He wasn't even like looking for them. He just knew where they were. Like there were at no point in the film was there drama. When was there ever a conflict in the film? Anything? You need conflict is the cornerstone of a story. There's no conflict. He's just like one by one killing these like 5 or 6 dudes. It's like, all right, yep, I do understand they all deserve it, and I do understand he wants to kill them, and there he is. He's doing it. That's it. Yeah. There's even a cop character in this film, and the cop, I thought, okay, maybe they'll put the cop in opposition to him. Like maybe the cop will try and stop him from killing these people. No, the cop kind of covers for him and lets him do his thing. So I don't know. There's not a lot here. Like it's not a lot here. So unless you're really nostalgic for the film, or just really interested in the backstory,
like me,
I don't recommend it. And I can also see why this movie has had a tough time getting rebooted. Like I feel like every 5 years I hear about them trying to reboot this film. Yeah. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, what do you do with this? There's nothing. There's nothing here. What are you gonna say in the film? Like, I think modern audiences have probably have an even lower tolerance for such a simple film. They'd have to add a lot to do more, and they probably just don't know what to do. So that's why there's no reboot. I can see why.
I get it, man. I get it. Well, man, that's why we're friends, man. It's like I can accept that the fact that you think a movie is trash, and you can accept the fact that I like movies that a small percentage of people think is trash. So,
well, I'm just gonna tell you this:
okay.
if you want to tell a good story, there must be conflict. There has to be conflict. In order to get conflict, you've got to be kind of cruel to your main character. This character,
right?
No, he just breezes through the whole film. He just goes through. He kills each of these guys one by one. He has no problem with any of them. It's just nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing here. If at any point in this film you walked out of the room and came back, you wouldn't have missed anything because nothing happened. So like I don't know. I just feel like you need more. I hate to rip this film, man, because I know it's really close to you.
You're telling me it is the Lee family is close to me.
See, that's what I'm talking about. The story behind the story is interesting, but is this movie interesting? No.
Now, so you're telling me, and you're telling the world right now, sir, that you haven't witnessed or watched this movie at all before reviewing it right now.
Again, this is one of those movies that we said on the previous episode, kind of like Dread, or it showed up. It was on like TBS or something like that, USA.
Right.
And I would pop in and see it. I'd see like an image or two, but I wouldn't really stick around and watch it. So no, this is my first time ever watching it from beginning to end, and I wasn't wild about it.
All right. Well, okay. So that's that. That's just what it is, and it's all good, man. It's all good. I give it a 9 because of the story and the how beautiful it looks to me, and what the Lee family means to me. And Devin threw it in the trash heap next to 3-day-old pickles. Now,
well, again, very very stylish, very cool. If you are interested in cool, I suggest you go on YouTube and check out some clips of this film. I don't suggest you watch it, but I suggest you look on YouTube and watch some clips because it is very cool and very stylish, and very 90s. It's like so 90s, it's almost 80s. It's like super 90s.
Yeah.
So if you just really want to see like some like super nostalgia stuff, there you go. It's there for you. But if you're trying to, it's just not a lot to carry you through the runtime. Like they needed something else, some side characters, something to discover, something to learn, need some drama, but none of this stuff is there.
It's all good.
Looks
man.
cool though. Looks
But-
cool. Cool looking movie.
It looks cool.
Looks cool.
But that's what we got for you today, everyone. This has been another episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions Rewind. We'd like to thank you. I'm Tyrone. You can find my things at my IG, my band's IG, at Yerp_ATL. And also I am a gamer. You can find me on twitch.tv/YerpNationGaming. And please, for the love of God, subscribe to my reaction channel, Yerp Nation Reactions. And you can find me right here on Mostly Wrong Opinions.
And I am Devin. You can find me right here on Mostly Wrong Opinions. I've got an Instagram. It is DevinHarris29. And you can find me on TikTok.
Yes. And sometimes I pop up over there too, doing funny stuff. So, but just please remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you stay updated with all of our videos, and leave a like or dislike, whatever it is your opinion, but just remember, it's mostly wrong. You have a good day. All right.
I'm back on my shit and I'm saving the culture.